Hey everybody, thank you so much for clicking on my video to watch. Welcome back to my How To Tuesdays, where every Tuesday or every other Tuesday I show you guys a how-to video. For today, I'm going to show you guys how to give yourself a facelift with only using makeup. I thought it'd be a really fun idea to do, just to show you guys my tips and tricks on how I lift up all of my face features. So before we hop on into the video, please don't forget to subscribe. Click that little bell beside the subscribe button, that way you guys get notified every time I upload a new video. Also be sure to like this video if you enjoy my How To Tuesdays. And if you'd like to know all of my techniques that I use to achieve this look, then please just keep watching. You'll want to lift up all of the high points of your face, so those are the parts we're going to be focusing on today. First step is to have your skin tight and bright, so I am wearing a mask right now. I focused on putting it on the high points of my face. It doesn't hurt to put it all over your face. These are just the spots that I'm focusing it on. And I have on the Wonder Beauty Lift Off Purifying and Brightening Peel Off mask. I went ahead and put it on already. So if you grab a mask that focuses on really brightening and tightening your face, when your skin tightens, it will naturally lift up and pull back your face. I'm gonna go ahead and peel it off. I just put a thin layer on today. And I don't know if you can tell from this part to the rest of my face, but it just brightens it up, makes it look way less dull. Following along with some more brightening products, I feel like the base is really important to focus on, and I'm gonna use the Ole Henriksen Banana Bright Face Primer. It's my favorite primer right now. I've been using it in basically every single one of my videos. Again, I'm going to focus this mostly on the high points of my face so I can raise up those areas. Just rubbing it in onto the tops of my cheekbones and my temples. And then I'll just use the excess product to place it on the rest of my face. And then another extra step I like to do is take a soft liquid highlighter. This one is the Anastasia Liquid Glow in the shade Perla. And you can do the same thing and place it everywhere like you did your primer, especially if it's just a soft highlighter like this one is. Or you could just focus it right onto your cheekbones, maybe a little bit on your temples as well, just to accentuate those parts of your face. But I really love just lifting up the cheekbones right here and brightening them the most. And then I'll bring a little bit around onto my temples. The next steps are going to be for the eyebrows. So I'm going to take my spoolie end of my eyebrow pencil and start brushing them upwards. And you really just want to make sure you're lifting everything up on your face and not dragging anything low. So after I've brushed them up, I'm going to move on to the pencil end. And you want to focus on curving your arch right here instead of going straight across. I used to do this straight brow a lot. And recently I've been switching up my eyebrow routine because I haven't really been happy with it. I've been more happy with curving out my arch because it makes this part of my face just look a little bit more lifted. And then I'll go ahead and round out the top of my brow where my arch is and kind of connect it at the bottom. So if you kind of start down low where your brow starts and then start bringing it up as you go, and then once you get to the arch, make that your highest point and then just finish out at the tail. And then as I do this, I also take my eyebrow pencil and I just flick it upwards into all of my brow hairs just to make sure everything's filled in. Now when you go back in to clean it up with some concealer, I just take an angled brush, and this is when I'll really define my eyebrows. I don't want them to be too thick, so I'll thin them out a little bit, and making sure I really curve out my arch. And then when I get down to the tail, I like to make sure that I focus on dragging it up. Sometimes when you're drawing on your eyebrows, it's easy to bring your tail and connect it downwards. So when I go back in with my concealer, I always lift it back up. And I make sure to just curve out the top of my eyebrow. And I just go ahead and clean everything else up as I normally would. This eyebrow usually ends up being a lot easier for me because it has more of a natural curve, whereas this one I have to kind of create one. So this eyebrow ends up looking more arched than the other usually. I know that this one's a little bit more higher in general, but this one is definitely more arched. The last step for the brows to make sure they stay locked into place is using a gel. This is a hair gel. You can use a brow gel obviously, but this is like a quarter of the price and it's huge. So all I do is I take a little bit of this on my spoolie and then I go ahead and brush my brow hairs upwards again, but this time they'll actually just stay there because the gel will hold the hair all day. I think brushed up eyebrow hairs make a huge difference in your brows, and I have been loving to do this for the past probably 4 months. I've always brushed my brow hairs up. Moving on to the face makeup now. I just put on my foundation and my concealer. And now I'm going to start on my contour. So I'm just gonna go into my large angled contour brush by Sigma. It's really easy to blend with this brush. I'm gonna grab a little bit of Faking It from my Sigma Sculpt Contour Palette. I'm just starting into the hollows of my cheeks and then dragging it upwards onto my cheeks. And then also just into my hairline so it all just blends together. I'm also lifting it at the same time. Trying not to drag it below the hollows of my cheeks. I'm also going to focus some onto my temples. Also just going to carve out my jawline. I usually don't put contour on this part of my jaw, but I feel like it helps lift the face a little when you put it here. And then it also makes the illusion that your face is a little bit smaller and more chiseled. So that's just the contour done now. I'm gonna pop a little bit on the nose, just on the sides, and then also focusing a lot underneath the nose. Just make it look a little bit shorter. I got the new Tarte, I don't know if it's new actually, but it's new to me, the Tarte Pro Glow 3 palette. I have the original Pro Glow palette and I love it. I'm really excited to try this one, so I'm going to use it for today's video for all of my face products. Beautiful. So I'm going to grab this bronzer shade right here. When I really want to make sure I don't drag anything down onto my face, I like to take a more flat and oval brush rather than a round big bronzer brush. Still fluffy, so it can blend out your bronzer really nicely. It's just a little bit more precise. This one specifically is the e.l.f. complexion brush. It's like $4, but I'm just gonna pick up the bronzer shade. I'm assuming it's gonna be really nice because I really like Tarte's face products, but we'll see. And again, I'm just, oh yeah, that is really nice. I'm just focusing it right above the contour, just on my cheeks. And then when I move on to my forehead, I just go onto the outer perimeters and the highest points on my forehead. And for the jawline, I'll try and just focus it on the jawline, trying not to make it too messy, but I will clean it up with some powder after anyways. As you can see, this brush just keeps it right here on your cheeks, whereas a big fluffy bronzer brush usually just puts the bronzer everywhere. Now for some blush, I'm gonna grab this shade in the palette. Actually, I'm gonna mix the two, just to be a little bit extra. And I'm just gonna pop it right onto the apples of my cheeks. I'm not gonna drag it anywhere else. I'm just gonna put it right there because I don't want to mush all my face products together since I'm trying to create the illusion that my face is more lifted. If I just start blending all my face products more together just like I usually do, then it's not gonna create that effect for me. So I'm just gonna leave the blush at that and move on to some highlighter. I don't know which one I'm gonna use. There's a more pink one in the palette. Basically a really pure gold. I'm gonna go for more of the pinky one because it looks a lot more pigmented and shiny, and I kind of feel like doing that today. This brush is great if you want to be super precise with your highlighter. It is the Sigma Tapered Highlighter F35 and it's very pointy at the tip here. So you can just pick up your highlighter right at the end of this brush. Angle it just so the top of the brush meets your cheekbone. And then you can be really precise and just pop it right there. Since I'm being very careful with my face products, I'm just gonna pop it right into kind of the middle part of my cheekbone right here, where I'm gonna put the most of the highlighter and then use the excess to drag it back a little bit more. Also a little bit on the temple, just right there, since that's the high point on my forehead. And then of course the tip of the nose and the bridge and the Cupid's bow. Just brightens and puts the finishing touch on all the face products just to really lift up your face. I'm just gonna clean up my contour line. I didn't really drag much down, but this is what I would do if I did end up getting a bunch of my product lower onto my face right here. I just take my loose powder. This one is Fenty Beauty Pro Filter powder and it's in the shade Butter. I'm just gonna create a very sharp line with it. I did drag up some of the bronzer up here too much, so I'm just gonna make sure I blend that out. So it's not too harsh, I'm going to take a fluffier brush and just really blend out that powder. Okay, so now that we have lifted our face and our eyebrows, I'm going to move on to the eyes and show you a few tricks for those. And I'm going to use this palette today. It is the Pure Festival palette. Grabbing my first shade, I'm just going to grab this one right here called Epic. And same with the base products, you're going to want to focus everything higher. So for the crease shade, I'm going to make sure I focus it very high, closest to my brow bone. making sure I'm not obviously hitting this part of my brow bone because that's where I'll put my highlighter, but just giving it some space so it's not all hitting my eyelid. Okay, the next step is one of my favorite steps to lift up your eyes. I actually did a whole video on how to lift and open up your eyes specifically, so a lot of these tips I mentioned in that video, but I thought it was only fitting to also include it in this one. I'm just gonna take a smaller brush than I had before. This is the Sigma Diffuse Crease E38, and I'm grabbing my next shade here called Hidden Desert. I'm just gonna pick up a little bit of that. And when you're wanting to lift your eyelids, your face, whatever, you don't want to close off the outer corner of your eye because that will make your eyes look smaller. So what I do is I just take my eyeshadow and I focus it up right onto my brow bone, high into my crease, and just pop it right there and kind of blend it into the other shade without taking over that shade, but still adding a little bit extra dimension. As you can see, that totally just lifts up the eyelid, the brow, without closing off your eyes. I have a lot more steps in that other video. I'm just gonna include a few for today. So this one's my favorite, so I had to include it because I think it works so well. And then next step, I'm sure a lot of you guys know, it's a really popular step to do. You can either put tape on the edge of your eye, you can hold a card or a piece of paper, anything to just create a straight line onto the outer part of your eyes here. I'm gonna grab a piece of paper. This is a Drunk Elephant hand flip that I have. If you're wanting to have your eyeshadow all across your lid, you could just take a piece of paper or tape like this and focus that shade all across your eyelid because that way it still lifts up your eye. But since I did it this way instead, I'm going to create a shadow wing with the paper instead of doing an actual winged eyeliner, which also will obviously lift up your eyes, but I want to do eyeshadow instead. So I'm going to take this shade called All Night. It's a very deep brown, just with a shader brush. Oh, actually no, I don't know how this is gonna work because I don't have 3 hands. So I don't really want to use tape, but I might have to. Okay, just kidding. I guess I'll be having to use tape. When you put tape on your skin, you never just want to stick it on there because it will tug at your skin. So if you just kind of place it on the back of your hand and make it less sticky before you put it on your face, that helps a lot. So you're just going to want to put it at the edge of your eye here. Make sure it's just upwards and diagonal. And now I'm going to do the wing now that I have my hand back. Okay, so all you're going to want to do is just focus it on your upper lash line and drag it along the tape. It makes it super easy, even if you're not really good at doing winged eyeliner like I am. This little trick in general just helps out with so many things. And now all you do is just peel it off and it creates a nice sharp line and completely just lifts up the edge of your eye. The wings always help with that. The brow bone is another high point of our faces. I'm going to put some highlights on there just to lift them a little bit extra. I'm grabbing the same highlights that I use for my face. I'm just going to pop it on the outer edge of my brow bone here. I'm going to apply a coat of mascara. This is the Too Faced Better Than Sex mascara. And I'm just going to apply a coat. And then after that, I'm really going to focus on the outer edges of my lashes and try and fan them out using my mascara. So just adding a little bit more, wiggling them around, and using the tip of my mascara wand just to separate them all and kind of add more attention just to the outer parts. I feel like just fanning them out really adds to that lift on this side of your eye and your brow bone. It kind of all meets together. And you can achieve that effect obviously using a fanned out pair of fake lashes, but if you would rather wear mascara, this is what I would suggest to do. Okay, I know your lips aren't really your face, but I kind of feel like it adds a little bit extra to the illusion. So I'm gonna grab a lip liner. I think I'm gonna use this one. It's Milani lip liner in the shade Nude. And your Cupid's bow is obviously the highest point of your lips. So I just like to accentuate the Cupid's bow and really kind of lift it up and overline it a little bit. Just really curve out the top of it. And then following along to fill out the rest of my lips. As I'm doing this, I'm realizing I don't think this lip liner is going to match the lip combo I had in mind. So I'm just going to fade it out and do my little trick that I had included in how to apply your lipstick perfectly. So what that is I'm just going to use my lipstick as a lip liner, just the tip of it. This one is Anastasia Matte Lip in Hollywood. So yeah, all I do is just turn my lipstick around and use the tip as the lip liner. And I'll just do the exact same thing I just mentioned, just not with the lip liner I was just using. This also has nothing to do with the video, but I'm going to use a Dominique Cosmetics lip gloss for the first time. I'm so excited. I wanted to try her stuff forever. I don't know why I haven't, but I got this in my BoxyCharm. I'm so happy about it. It is her Lemonade lip gloss in the shade Peach Tea. It smells wonderful, and I'm just going to apply it. Oh my gosh, it goes perfectly with this lipstick. Okay guys, well that is it for the video. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. Please don't forget to subscribe or leave a like this video if you enjoyed it. Let me know what How To Tuesday you want to see next, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!